an exploratory committee to pursue the possibility of my running for the presidency of the United States. As a Republican, we cannot sit passively as our precious democracy slips quietly into darkness.
All right, that is former Massachusetts Governor Bill Weld announcing an exploratory committee to challenge President Trump for the Republican nomination in 2020. In his speech, Governor Weld said Republicans in Washington exhibit all the symptoms of Stockholm syndrome, and he is doing his part to stand up to the schoolyard bully, end quote. Joining us now is former Governor Bill Weld. Good morning, Governor.
Thank you, Allison. Good to be with you.
So what was it for you? What was the straw that broke the camel's back that made you think now is time to jump into this?
Well, I think now is the time because the New Hampshire primary is 1 year away. Time's a wasting if one's going to make a serious effort to have the actual issues discussed as opposed to a bunch of political palaver and slogans and infighting in Washington. Now's the time to do it.
But was there something that President Trump did that made you think, yes, I'm going to get in? I mean, when you say that he's too unstable to carry out the duties of higher office, what was it? How so?
You know, one moment does stick in my mind, and that's the time when the president shooed all the U.S. press out of the Oval Office and brought in Ambassador Kislyak from Russia and Sergei Lavrov from Russia to have his summit meeting with them, with nobody present except TASS, which is the Russian state press organ. That showed contempt for the American people, if anything I've ever seen does.
He shared classified information during that.
Yeah, no, it just gets worse and worse. And the president does not exhibit curiosity about history or even world events. It troubles me that he abroad, he seeks out the company of people who are dictators and despots, people like Vladimir Putin, like President Kim of North Korea. He said of President Kim, oh, what a great, strong kid. He iced his uncle. He even iced his own brother. I mean, this is mob talk, with which I had some familiarity from my days in the Justice Department.
And so was that the moment when you saw what he did in the Oval Office with sharing classified information, was that the moment where you thought, I think I'm going to primary. I'm going to try to launch a primary attack on him?
There was not one moment. I do think the president has shown a tendency to associate with autocrats. I think his domestic instincts are in the same direction. I recall him saying on television, wouldn't it be great if we didn't have to have elections? I'm sure he will say that was a joke. I'm not so sure it was a joke. I mean, the response to my announcement of an exploratory committee has been for everybody to close ranks among the state Republican parties and say, no, we can't have a primary. And the truth is, if the president had his first choice, he wouldn't have a primary and he wouldn't have an election.